You might hate me for saying this, but your veggie straws are just potato chips with better marketing. You might be cooking at home, prioritizing protein, skipping dessert, even hitting your steps or working out consistently. On paper, you're doing everything right, but something might be quietly working against you. Very often, it's not your meals that are stalling your progress. It's the small, seemingly harmless decisions you're making in between. The healthy snacks sitting in your pantry, your work drawer, or your gym bag. We reach for these items because the label tells us they're a good choice. They're a healthy choice. Words like veggie, low fat, keto friendly, sugar free, or protein packed give us the illusion that they're supporting our metabolism. But the reality is very different. Many of these snacks are secret insulin spikers. They quietly flip your metabolic switch from a state of burning fat to storing it. Even if the calories look reasonable, and once insulin is elevated, fat burning is paused, sometimes for hours. Today we're doing a deep dive into 5 specific healthy snacks that are secretly spiking your insulin, and as a result, stalling your progress. These are foods that most people believe are helping them. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these traps and how they affect your hormones. And don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. At the end, we'll talk about how to choose snacks that support your metabolism instead of sabotaging it. First on our list is a snack that has absolutely mastered the art of deceiving us: veggie straws and veggie chips. The packaging is doing a lot of psychological work here. We see the word veggie, we see the green coloring, we see images of spinach, tomatoes, or root vegetables. Our brains immediately categorize it as a better option than standard potato chips. But if you turn the bag over and look at the ingredients, the illusion falls apart. The first 2 ingredients are almost always potato flour and cornstarch. These are not vegetables in any meaningful biological sense. They are highly refined starches that behave differently in the body than whole vegetables. When you eat something like broccoli, the fiber, the water, and the cellular structure slow down digestion. Glucose enters your bloodstream gradually, giving insulin time to respond without spiking. When you eat refined starch like this, that structure is gone. Your body does not see vegetables. It sees a fast, concentrated glucose load. Because the fiber has been stripped down during processing, digestion happens rapidly. Blood sugar rises quickly and insulin follows. That's why people can snack on veggie chips and feel hungrier shortly after. The glucose rises, insulin spikes, then blood sugar crashes. That crash creates more cravings. Metabolically, veggie straws behave almost identically to potato chips. The only difference is the story on the front of the bag. If your goal is to keep your blood sugar stable and your insulin low in between meals, these are absolutely working against you. They might feel light, but hormonally, they're heavy. Next up is dried fruit. Dried mango, cranberries, dates, raisins. These are often positioned as nature's candy, and technically, they are made from whole fruit, and that's what makes them a little bit confusing. The issue is not the fruit itself, it's the concentration effect. When fruit is dehydrated, the water is removed, but the sugar remains. What was once spread across a large volume of food becomes packed into a small, easy to overeat portion. Think about it practically. Most people would struggle to eat 10 fresh apricots in one sitting. The chewing, the volume, the fiber, these create natural stopping points. But 10 dried apricots? That can be eaten in under a minute. And in that moment, you have delivered a massive fructose load into your system. When the liver receives more than it can immediately process, it converts it into fat. And over time, this contributes to fatty liver and increased insulin resistance. This isn't about willpower, it's about physiology. Now, I'm not saying fruit is bad, but we have to think about how we're consuming it. Because, let's be real here, even fruit in its whole food form is a lot sweeter than it used to be. Dried fruit is especially problematic as a standalone snack. Without fat, protein, or fiber to slow down absorption, sugar hits fast and hard. The ideal choice is to keep fruit in its whole natural form. And if you can, prioritize low glycemic options like berries. As we talk about snacks and their role in inflammation and insulin, we can't ignore the role of the gut. If you feel bloated after eating, experience irregular digestion, or notice that certain foods seem to trigger fatigue or brain fog, your gut health may be a hidden stalling factor. And that's why I want to introduce to you PureWell Sciences. PureWell Sciences has developed a SciBiotic with a unique 3-in-1 formula that includes prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. And this approach matters because gut health is not just about adding bacteria. It's about creating an environment where good gut bacteria can actually thrive. Your gut microbiome plays a massive role in insulin resistance, inflammation, immune function, and appetite regulation. A disrupted microbiome can amplify blood sugar spikes and worsen cravings. Supporting your gut gives your metabolism a stronger foundation. It improves nutrient processing and helps reduce systemic inflammation. So if you want to support your metabolism at the root level instead of constantly chasing symptoms, I'm going to include the link to PureWell Sciences in the description down below. The third snack is one of the most iconic diet foods of all time, rice cakes. For decades, rice cakes were marketed as the perfect weight loss snack. They're low in calories, virtually fat-free, and easy to portion. On the surface, they seem harmless. But when it comes to insulin resistance, calories are not the primary driver. Hormonal signaling is. Rice cakes are made from puffed white rice, which is almost pure refined starch. The puffing process increases surface area, making digestion even faster. On the glycemic index, rice cakes are shockingly high, in many cases higher than table sugar or white bread. That means glucose enters the bloodstream extremely quickly. And because rice cakes contain almost no fat or protein, there is nothing to slow absorption. No metabolic break, no buffering effect. Insulin spikes aggressively to manage the glucose surge. Fat burning shuts off. And because there's little satiety, hunger often returns quickly. This is why people will eat rice cakes all day long and still feel unsatisfied. They are light in calories, but heavy in their insulin impact. Snack number 4 is flavored low-fat yogurt. This is one of the clearest examples of how food engineering can mislead even health-conscious people. When fat is removed from yogurt, the very thing that provides satiety and slows sugar absorption is gone. Texture and flavor suffer as a result. To compensate, manufacturers add all sorts of things. Thickeners, flavors, and often high amounts of sugar. Sometimes even high fructose corn syrup. Some fruit-flavored yogurts contain as much sugar as a can of Coke, and this creates a double hit. For someone trying to reduce inflammation or reverse insulin resistance, this is the worst case scenario disguised as a healthy snack. The ideal choice is full-fat, plain Greek yogurt. Buy it plain and add sweetness yourself. Add some honey, add some berries. You control the sweetness instead of outsourcing it to a factory. And finally, we need to talk about protein bars, specifically ones with sugar alcohols like maltitol. And these might be the sneakiest on the list. They're often labeled as keto-friendly or sugar-free, leading people to believe that at the very worst, they're metabolically neutral. But many sugar alcohols still raise blood sugar and insulin. Maltitol in particular has a glycemic index close to regular sugar. Beyond the glucose and insulin impact, these bars often contain synthetic fibers that can ferment aggressively in the gut, leading to bloating and discomfort. If you're eating these as a daily bridging snack, you might be keeping your insulin elevated all day without even realizing it. Whole animal-based protein sources still remain the ideal choice. Now, there are a couple brands that do make good choices of protein bars. If you're absolutely desperate for a snack, these are going to be a better option. A Quip is one, Paleo Valley is another. A general rule of thumb, try to meet all of your protein and energy needs at your meals. Skip the snacks if you can. This allows you to get small doses of intermittent fasting in throughout the day. Your insulin has time to calm down in between meals, and you enter that fat burning state. So stop letting healthy labels be the reason you're staying inflamed and stuck. And if you want to give your metabolism the ideal foundation it deserves, remember that internal balance starts in the gut. And that's why I recommend PureWell Sciences Psychobiotics. Again, that's going to be in the description box down below if you want to know more. Now, identifying snacks that could be sabotaging your results is all well and good. But next, you need to look at how you're starting your day. So make sure to check out this video next, where I talk about 8 morning mistakes that I see so often that could be holding you back.